Hi YouTube friends, this is Fossilsaurus. I have quite an awesome treat right here. I mentioned it in my coming soon videos. Voila! I don't know if any of you are big on Eurypterids, sea scorpions, but this is pretty awesome. It is a sea scorpion mortality plate. If you don't know what a mortality plate is, you usually see them with fish and shrimp and stuff, especially from the Green River. Whatever, any size plate with just multiple dead things on it. Sometimes it's tons of them. It can just be 2 or 3 of them. Probably more than 2. It probably has to be at least 3 or so. And that's called a mortality plate. And that can happen different ways. It could be something wrong with the water, anoxic water, lack of oxygen, anything wrong with it, ammonia, whatever, that kills things right there, and they just fall and fossilize, or kind of get swept into an area where they collect. A lot of times, though, what will happen is there will be sand or debris or just detritus, whatever, just suddenly falls, like a sandfall or something like that, and covers them and smothers them, and everything there just gets covered and fossilized as it was when it was alive, when it died. So, and that is probably what happened here. They're all upright, so they were probably not all swept into the area after they died. So, now these, you can't really tell what species. An expert could. I'm 100% sure an expert could, but I am not an expert, and it is pretty hard without a lot of the tells, like the paddles and so on. I'm guessing that this is a Eurypterid remipes, because that's one of the more common ones. It could also be a Eurypterid or Dolichopteris, I believe is how it's pronounced. It's definitely from the Eurypterid family. That's all I can say for sure. Now, these guys are arthropods, but they're not in any way related to scorpions or spiders, aside from being arthropods. They are actually related to horseshoe crabs. And if I do somewhere have a fossil of the underside of a Eurypterid, and if you look at the underside of a horseshoe crab, which I'm sure you've flipped them over before, you've seen them flipped over. If you haven't, look it up online. That is exactly what Eurypterids, or at least some Eurypterids look like on the underneath. That's what the general idea of their underside is. Now these guys, they didn't get all that big. Definitely got bigger than this. Most of the average ones stayed under 8 inches. I've seen these guys probably close to that, at least 6 inches. The smallest, I mean, not just Eurypterids, but sea scorpions in general, there's lots of different families. Some can get massive, some stay pretty small. There's some that are less than 1/8 of an inch, and that's the largest we found, so that's as large as we know them to get. But there are some kinds that are human size. The largest one, I believe it starts with the Y sound. It's spelled J-A-E, so I believe it's Eurypterid. And those can be over 8 feet. I will have a picture of those, along with, I think there's 4 or 5 other massive ones that get around human size. Very, very amazing, but horrifying animals. I mean, you can imagine one that big. That is just, it's a terrifying thing. They're almost cute when they're tiny like this, but even tiny like this, they have their scary side. But oh, good Lord, that's, I mean, that is a movie monster. I mean, I'm pretty sure there are some B movies that have something exactly like that. So it's not far off at all. At least Eurypterids, largely sea scorpions, mostly around what was Euramerica, the waters surrounding that continent. So a large amount of them, the larger amount of them, is around Europe and America, because they were around Euramerica. Some spread away. They can be found all over the world, or not everywhere, but other places around the world. But they're not as heavily populated. Now, sea scorpions started off in marine environments, and some of them stayed there. There were some in there the entire time, but quite a few of them left fully marine habitats and moved into shallow water, shallow fresh waters, probably not ponds or anything, but lagoons, rivers, so on. There was one species called Eurypterid which outlasted pretty much all the others. It outlasted them by a lot, and that was, I believe that family became strictly freshwater. There was actually a diverse family. There was quite a few of them, and I can't tell you if they were around at the same time, if the diversity was around at the same time, or if it was just kind of, they were diverse because they lasted so long that they evolved so much. That I can't say. But sea scorpions, they lasted for a long time. They were an amazing animal. I mean, they're still an amazing animal, they're just not around anymore. When I saw this, I jumped on it so quickly. It's really cool because you can actually, I'm so careful around it because you can see it's hard to see without the right shadows here, but these are actually different levels, which is very cool. That means this is the entire animal squashed on here. It's not just an imprint. I mean, they become basically an imprint, but these are still three-dimensional. You can still see debris from them, different parts of the arms, some of the paddles. It's just a very, very cool piece. This could be restoration. Sometimes rocks break like this and they don't break all the way through, so I'm not sure, but I try and be very careful with it. It's just an amazing piece. I'm very proud of it, very happy to have gotten it. I love looking at it, and just the fact that they're different levels is so unique and so amazing to me. I mean, you could almost take them off and put that, like, this is a this is the flattened animal right here. You actually remove it. I mean, you couldn't. I mean, you probably could. It'd probably be scientifically possible, but you couldn't do it and take it off in one piece. Nobody nowadays could do that. It would just fracture, but it's just a cool thought. So, and you can see debris from parts of them, and that may have been from other animals, or they may have fallen apart at the back. This one looks like there might be some breakage. You can see this goes out further, so this is actually, there's a layer of debris or sand that went, or mud, that went on top of this. So they weren't necessarily smushed down at the exact same moment. This might have been an area where there was repeat falls, because they are divided by a little bit of debris and a little bit of matrix. So there was some separation there, which is very cool, and that's very unique in itself. You don't normally see anything like that. I wish I could get you guys a better angle of that. It's easy for me to see, but for me to see where I am, but I don't know if it's as easy for you guys to see. That's probably one of the better angles right there. So, but it's just, I mean, it's very cool. Yeah, I can keep repeating myself indefinitely. So, thank you for checking this out. Thank you for sticking through the whole video. Very much appreciate it. Give me some likes, give me some subscriptions, and I hope to see you again soon.